Hello and welcome back to another exciting episode of Summer's Morning. My host LPO Tree. Going back to this called collab. Isn't it? I don't know. I think it's supposed to be and then Laboration. I don't know what is 2Ls. Anyway, Street Fighter pack. This one, remember, legendary attribute, not Street Fighter scrolls. The other thing that I forgot to mention, these have 25 mystical scrolls that weren't from the original collab packs. The other thing you should know is, if you want to figure out whether or not these are worth it to you, obviously if you have crazy amounts of money, do whatever you want. But I look at this like 25 mystical scrolls, and then even if you bought all premium packs with this thing, even though it's not recommended, you'll probably get about 60, especially if you had that. So it's probably like 3 premium packs. So 58, 59, 60 scrolls, even though not really. So 60 scrolls is about 30% worth of a Nat 5 when you average 200 scrolls for a Nat 5. I mean, that's their percentages. That's their rates. Street Fighter 5 scrolls, it's about an 8% chance, maybe 7.5, to get a Nat 5. And it's 100% Street Fighter Nat 5. Which we already know they aren't really that great. I mean, they're fun. My Ryu is pretty decent, but you have to obviously double them on them like crazy. But they're not too great as opposed to some of these other of the old school Nat 5s. So you basically have a 60% chance, even if you get the extra, 7.5 times 2, which is 15%. That's only a 45% chance to get a Nat 5. You're paying $100 to flip a coin to get a Nat 5, and to get a Street Fighter Nat 5. And so, for the most part, is that worth it or not? You can also look at it this way for perspective. If you were going to buy the new like Call of Duty or something with that DLC pack, it's probably $100. Are you going to flip a coin, and they're going to either give you this year the brand new one, or they give you last year's one? And that's kind of how this feels like. And so it's up to you. It's all chance, and some people get really lucky, but for the most part I don't think I really do. I think I just do a long term, and I'll get it eventually. Like, it took me 6 years and I got the Ludia. But basically 45% chance to get an F5 for $100. We can look at the new one, Legendary Pack. This one has Street Fighter Scroll. This one does not have the 25 Mystical Scrolls. So this looks like 33, 35 summons. So that would be half of that. So about 18% for on your way to Nat 5. These are considered 10%. And so times 2 is 20. And then you get this thing again. So once again, this is less than a 50% chance to get an F5 for $100. You get Devilmon, and that's about it. So and ideally, you're just getting, 3 Nat 4s, and then just fodder for $100. So that's how I look at it. Now the other way you can look at it, and the reason really why I bought the other packs, was a lot of these other games like Call of Duty, you do get sick of it, and it's the same one over and over again. I probably want to buy this next coming up one in November, if there's one. But in that sense, it's like, well, I've been playing this game for 6-7 years now, so you might as well get back and then see what you can get out of it. I mean, once again, it's still chance, and you don't expect much, but it's all chance. That's why I at least try to get the Transcendent Scroll. That has the best thing. That's basically free Nat. It is not free Nat 5, but guaranteed Nat 5. Even then, you're still up in the air for it. I think I got a Sekhmet, which was the first one on mine for that. So anyway, that's how I feel about the packs. The next thing, here's your October code. Remember, once a month you get that. You can use the codes. That's the October one. Today's October 1st. We're still doing the Collab Festival. The runes I recommend you guys should get when we collect this daily. Almost everyone, like high-end endgame, all the content creators agree, will slot 4 crit damage. This is like the universal rune. You can basically use this everywhere. If you get too much attack and no speed, use this for your BGR5 team or your Fat Lucian. If you get too much HP, too much defense, you can use this on any kind of tanky unit, even like Triana's or something like that, or something where it doesn't have to move, like your Wind Panda. Basically everything else is pushing it forward. You don't need really the speed for that, and you can also use this for your damage dealers of any of your dungeons. And it really doesn't matter, as long as you do my simple roll on the properties, then it really doesn't matter what you roll, you can put it on any of your monsters to make them, very good. For your other rune, you only have a few options. The non-violent one is Swift. Swift, slot 2, speed. If you Swift anything else, you're speed chasing, and there's a good chance that you don't hit it and you'll just throw it away. And that's a whole waste of an event. For slot 2, Swift, you can basically roll anything and it'll be good. And that's the same if you had violent slot 2 speed. It doesn't really matter what those stats are. As long as you get the main properties, then it'll be a good rune. Your other 2 options, and it's basically going to be either 2 or 6. So now we'll go to 6. It's either going to be HP percent, or even better for the newer players is attack percent. And I recommend attack percent for people that are still doing their dungeon runs and is still like not being consistent enough. Maybe your towers aren't maxed yet or whatever. But having attack violent runes is almost a necessity for all your dungeon units, like your water twins, your crows, your Rauks. They all should be violent slot 6 attacks. Or at least slot 6 attack, anyway. I use my crows on violent, and I use them for a lot of things in areas of the game. And then hopefully you can use the will crit damage one on your attacker also. But yeah, violent. If your teams are stable enough and you're more towards having fun in your arena or RTA or something like that, then you probably need to be a little bit more tankier, and you'll probably go hybrid, having your speed slot 2 of something, and then having your HP slot 6 violent. And that's kind of what I'm going for. So, your next thing is crit damage is such a unique thing for your main property because it's not one of the primary ones that show up everywhere else. So in this situation, you can have all 4 of these as your main, as the main properties, or the, I don't know what they call them, primary. Anyway, your goal for these runes, for their crit damage one, is attack percent, defense percent, speed, and then this is supposed to be HP percent. So basically the fat stats with percentages, and then speed. So I don't know if I can change it. And the simple thing is, you just get the most efficiency this way. Accuracy, crit damage, or not crit damage because of that is accuracy, crit rate, and resistance, they do not grind. And because you don't grind, your efficiency is lost. If you think of your flat HP and flat your flat stats, they're just not as good as having the main ones. So for example, let's look at my Perna. So last time we did this, I made that rune. And so I got the main stats. Attack percent, defense percent, HP percent. I think like I was missing a roll here and there. But that was okay. The only problem was the rolls were also low. So these aren't too great stats. But when you look at it, this is not too bad. It's, average everywhere so I can make them good. The other thing you can do, which is kind of interesting, is So it's 1 roll defense, 1 roll HP, and 2 rolls speed. So the one that's left out is attack. So what I could do here is attack percent that. This would be 13, and it should go up to 10% for the legend grind. And so this 13% will go up to 23%. And that 23% is actually a bit better than the other ones that actually got the roll and the grind. If you compare that to your flat stats, I'm not too sure what the grind of these are. The legend gem is for HP, but think of it like the same thing. Say this was also 550 for the gem and then 550 for the grind. That's 1100. If your average NAF5 is 10,000 HP, then 1100 is 11%. And you can look over here, and even though that's one of the rolls, so basically this is this 11% more than 13%, and obviously it's no. So and by that logic, you get more stats all around the board using the percentage ones with the grinds, gems, and everything. So crit damage, you want these kind of stats. And even for like this one, so ideally, this is not a main stat. So if your slot 4 was crit damage, you can actually get these stats on that crit damage rune. So HP percent, defense percent, speed, and attack percent. That's grinded and gemmed. The gem, that could have been better. Remember, this can go up to 23. And this was 2 rolls here, 2 rolls there. Alright, to look at what speed slot 2 would look like, we're going to my Ryu, which you've probably seen before. So, even though this is an ancient one, this is actually from my Predator boss. So if you didn't know, today's October 1st. On October 3rd, probably the end of the day, we'll get the new Predator boss. And this was the rune I got from the last one, which is basically, because this is a primary stat, you need the other 3 primary stats: attack percent, HP percent, defense percent, and then either accuracy or crit rate's probably your free stat that you can get. And during the Predator boss, this was resistance and it didn't roll in it. It was like the perfect storm, even though accuracy's probably not as great. And I went double roll attack, double roll accuracy. So if you get your slot 2 speed, you want these percentages. Or you want the attack percent, HP percent, defense percent, and then preferably accuracy or crit rate for your slot 2 speeds. I mean, obviously this is not violent or will, but this is very good for what speeds should be. And then if you think of it for the HP percent on slot 6 or attack percent, it's basically the same kind of situation. Whatever it is going to be replaced by speed. So I don't have a good example. I know Ryu doesn't have a good example. So kind of like this. So legend grade, HP percent, at the other 3 primary stats: defense percent, attack percent, speed, and then they have the whatever else this one could be. And so I probably don't have anything great. I think I just got this to doing the lab boss in this week. But this could be resistance, accuracy, crit rate, or crit damage. But on my Molly, I don't care too much. Can I grind this better? No. And this is low too. So even if I wanted to keep the resistance and I don't care too much about that, I could probably convert this to the 23% instead of 11%. But it's all, if I really wanted to. So that's it. That's what the stat should look like if you get in your HP percent, your attack percent, something like that. Yeah, will slot 4, crit damage, universal rune, and then basically whatever your account needs. I know my account, I think it's about the same. So my violent slot 6 for HP, and then for attack, it's very close. There's only like, these are 5 stars and the other one a couple 5 stars also, but it's about the same. The only problem is I think I started making things more tankier, and this one should be HP percent. And I know I had a Veramos that's on attack percent somewhere, and it probably has some things that are not ruined that I would like my Elsharion, even Tessarion. Those ones could benefit more with, I think, with the tankier HP percent than one of these things, than attack percent. It doesn't matter too much, but basically violent. But violent speed or HP or attack percent slot 6. And I lack a lot of wills, so only have 4. That was from the last time, and I farmed this a lot. This one's garbage, and that one's, I don't know, blue. The only reason why you don't really need the speed slot 2 is, like I said, it's a little bit more common than the other ones, but it doesn't matter too much on the rolls. I mean, I guess it would work either way, but basically anything you roll is usable. Like, I can just get rid of this and make it attack and it'll be fine. No, I'm not arguing that one. But Swift, and about everything can give you speed. My violent ones, there's so many of these are blue. This one's a purple. But like I said, it doesn't matter too much. You can use it, any of them can use it. And you don't have to worry about getting rolling speed because speed's already there. As opposed to slot 6s where you pretty much really want that speed to be there and you really want it to hit speed. So it's a little harder to get a good slot 6 with rolls into speed, and it's a lot easier to get speed in slot 2 because basically it's the main step. So to me, I'd rather have that HP percent or attack percent for slot 6 over the speed slot 2, even though some of them really like that, just to maximize their stuff, which I don't care too much for. But that's my opinion. So make sure you have complete sets of speed, attack, crit damage with your violence sets for your dungeon farming teams. That should be your biggest priority, even for your TOA and everything in the game. That makes everything easier if you have that violent speed, crit damage, attack. Once you do that, then you can go HP, you can go anything else you feel like it, and it'll all be good. But focus on your dungeon runes, making sure dungeon runes for your monsters. Make sure that becomes more reliable. Work on those so you can farm more, and then the rest of the game becomes easier. So anyway, this is LPO Tree. Thank you for watching. Have a good night, good day, good whatever. Stay safe, stay dry, stay wet, and have a good night. Goodbye.